Armed robbers started taking hostages when they found out that one of the looters had arrested two gang members by complaining about them. They kidnapped the complaining man and his children, but the young man's frightening escape revealed their secret. Hi, I'm Arash, and I'm here every day to tell interesting stories. To see the stories every day, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell. Thank you. About 2 months ago, Texas police officers were involved in armed house robberies and began their investigation to identify the thieves. The police investigations showed that the members of this gang were all armed with firearms and used a Benz car and a Hyundai to carry out their robberies. After identifying the houses they wanted, they climbed the wall without any introduction, and after entering the house, they threatened the residents with guns and then attempted to steal valuable property. Due to the sensitivity of the matter, a team of professional and experienced police detectives was assigned to handle the case. Of course, for the police to take practical action and arrest the thieves, they needed complaints against the thieves from those whose property was stolen. Finally, with the complaint of one of the lost property named Peter, detectives were able to identify and arrest 2 members of the armed robbery gang. After the arrest of 2 robbers, the rest of the armed robbery gang, when they learned that the complaint of one of those whose property was stolen by the thieves led to the arrest of their accomplices, decided to take a terrible revenge. Last Friday, they attacked the complainant's house in a Benz and Hyundai car and kidnapped the young man along with his 2 children and took them to their car. The armed robbers wanted to take the young wife of the house owner hostage, but the young woman resisted. Meanwhile, one of the robbers managed to kill the owner of the house by shooting 1 bullet. Of course, the scene looked like this. But the bullet hit the woman's necklace under her dress and she just fainted. The armed robbers then fled and intended to take their hostages to their hideout. On the way, the young man thought to himself that if he could escape, he might be able to save the lives of his children. But if they reach the thieves' hideout, all 3 of them will probably be killed. He suddenly decided to jump out of the car and was able to open the car door and throw himself out. The robbers, who were scared and knew that stopping them might lead to their arrest, continued to run away, while the young man fell on the asphalt of the street. His face was bloodied and he was injured. Then the young man immediately got into a taxi and drove himself to the police station. With the information that this man provided to the police, the search began to arrest the armed hostage takers, and the detectives were able to identify their hideout in a neighborhood in Texas. Finally, in a short time, the place was quickly surrounded by the police. But when the officers tried to arrest the armed robbers, they started shooting at the police. The head of the Texas detective team, who was also present at the scene of the conflict, said in an interview with the newspaper, around 14:30 on Sunday afternoon, an armed conflict began between the police and the hostage takers. Since the armed men had 2 boys as hostages, The police officers tried to refrain from firing back, but the robbers did not stop shooting and continued shooting. The police chief added. The conflict continued until 4 o'clock the next morning, and finally the police officers were able to kill 2 of the armed men and free the hostages by arresting 2 others. According to the head of detectives, after discovering a large amount of weapons and bullets from the hideout of these criminals, the arrested thieves were transferred to the intelligence department. The thieves then confessed that they have committed 15 armed robberies so far, and in these robberies, The police chief laughed while smoking a cigarette and said, "Luckily the woman is alive and was only unconscious for a while." Then finally, with the completion of the investigation, the thieves were handed over to the court along with the